Wow, that was a good song. Why do fools fall in love? Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Please pardon me for the late start today. Yeah, I was just in a meeting. It ran over, right? And the whole time I'm just dreading it. I'm like, please just let me get out of here. I have a space to attend to, and but it is what it is. At the end of the day, we're here, we're back, and we're better. This is the morning after celebration. A lot of us are probably hungover from celebrating hard. I hope some of us are hangover from celebrating after hitting the 2 million mark, right? Imagine being in the dot-com era when they first crossed the 2 million number, and then seeing where that thing would have eventually evolved to and eradicated to over the course of the next few years. So I'm very excited to be here today, y'all. I have some things I want to share with y'all. Um, Starting with, there was a great, great video by Matt Garcia. I tried to invite him on the show, but I guess he was busy or whatever. But he made a great video about something I've been talking about for a while: three-letter ENS domains. Right, three-letter ENS domains are probably the biggest sleeping giant in all of ENS right now. What do we mean by that? Relatively compared to the four digits, relatively compared to the three digits, compared to their .com equivalents, three-letter ENS domains have the potential to 1000x from here. Literally, three-letter ENS domains have the potential to 1000x from this very moment right here. So when we look at, is there still great opportunities out there? What can I still do? What can I still invest in right now? I think a great play. I'm gonna actually pin Matt's video because I think you guys should check this video out when you get the opportunity to. It only makes sense, right? And I think three-letter domains, and this is not me shilling three-letter domains by any means of the imagination, right? Because I only have about two, so I'm still very cautious on what I'm bringing. But compared to what they were valued at in the .com, three-letter domains are going for six figures plus, right? At the potential they have here, especially with subdomains coming up, if you guys are this early, I think it's worth at least checking it out if you haven't already. Just do some research on it. This is not a shield. This is not, me telling you to go ape into it. I'm telling you, take a look at it, do some research on it, and maybe, just maybe, you might find yourself one that's worth a value. Now, the next thing I'm going to pin it here shortly once I find the video. The next thing I want to talk about here real quick, y'all, is this tweet I just pinned up top by Visa, by Blockworks, who quoted Visa, and I think I talked about this as well in the past, but I just want to bring it back up because I would love for us to have a discussion on this today as well. Visa, we envision a future in which your crypto address becomes as important as your mailing address. Now, I just really, the more I look at this, the more I want to peel this back a layer, the more I want to, dissect this and analyze what do they actually mean by that, right? Because when you think of a mailing address, it's your home, it's how friends and family members come visit you. It's how you receive mail. It's where you send mail from, and that's your mailing address. They didn't say email. They said mailing address, right? So that's what kind of caught me off guard a little bit. The more I think about this, but when you think about what your crypto address is going to be, it's where you're going to send payments, receive NFTs, log into different decentralized protocols. Guys, if Visa is comparing this to your home mailing address or just your mailing address, I think we're in for a wild, wild future. And this is what makes me even more bullish on ENS in the years to come. But that's all I have for today. I look forward to the discussion. I'm going to go ahead and pin that video to the top. You guys check it out. I found it really fascinating. But with that being said, Ron, good morning, man.
Hey, GM Kev, yeah, GM everybody. Um, yeah, well, first off, I totally agree on the three letters. I don't know, I have 10 or 20 of them, and I'd have 1,000 of them if they weren't $600. I can tell you right now, because I agree. There's what 17,500, 16,000, whatever the math is, and and then some of them in there with numbers. or hyphens become even more rare. But yeah, I think that's definitely just, it's scarcity, right? And scarcity never goes out of style. And we're seeing it right now. Right before got on the call, I was checking out, of course, ENS Vision. I always keep them up on all my devices, and I go to them to check and see what the volume is. And I noticed the 10K, the 999, and the often overlooked, 100K club, uh, all doing great. The floor is all creeping up. So, I think that in the end, scarcity, shortness, simplicity doesn't go out of style. On the visa thing you were saying, Kev, I will say this. First off, in the .com days, we didn't have all this information down to the second information. We had to read about it, a month later in some magazine or something, right? Because we didn't even really have many of the internet news sites. So much stuff happened that we didn't really realize, and that's the difference between Web 1 and Web 3. It's night and day difference, and the amount of information we have. Just these spaces, we literally had to go out in person, spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to get people together to talk about, where the internet was going. So just the ability for us to be on here on a daily basis, hundreds of us, is just amazing all around the world. And the last thing I will say is the people that I knew that made the most money, I'm just talking personally, that made the most money. I'm talking, mansions on the cliff overlooking the ocean in Newport Beach or whatever. I'm talking the most money was made by people in the payment side of things. And I brought these guys most of their customers, and did fine myself. But even to this day, some of those people are still some of the wealthiest people that I personally am good friends with. So the whole payment thing is not even close to being finalized with crypto, right? Until your grandma's paying stuff with crypto and her ENS address and doesn't even know what's going on behind the screen. That's when it's going to happen, and we're not even close. I mean, I don't even know today if I wanted to accept crypto for my business. What the good formats even are. So I really look at all those closely, and I was just thinking about it yesterday. It's that is going to be so important, and I believe that's why a readable human address can be so important, whether it's your address or your bank account, your email address. I think Master brought up yesterday how many email addresses are out there. This is everything. That's why I call it the Swiss Army knife. And I'm not talking the cheap Swiss Army knife with like 7 functions. I'm talking that big fat Swiss champ that has like 30 tools on it. You know what I mean? It's like 2 inches thick. But really, yeah, there's just so much, right? You think of where we can go, and this is really a payment platform potentially. Is really what the basis of it. So yeah, I tell you, every day I get more bullish on ENS and the things they were doing, people building on it for different things. I think we're going to look back. I promise you, as much as every day everyone says we're early, we will look back in a year and say, or 2 or 3, and say, damn, we didn't realize how early we were. We were like the dinosaur roaming the earth early. Today, I'm talking today. I think it's just mind-boggling. And yeah, looking forward to today's discussion. Looking forward to every day something's happening. I was on the NFT space earlier today with like 1,200 people because they had the Dot Earth guy, that talking about. I wanted to hear what he had to say because how he's building with the ENS PFPs and stuff like that, and all that integrated with with the ENS subdomains. And so, but yeah, it was like to me, no offense, but the whole NFT space is so boring compared to what just a straight ENS is. And I sent out a tweet yesterday and tagged Bitcoin in it. I'm like, man, that's been a long time since I've tweeted anything that doesn't have to do with ENS. So yeah, excited about like, I'll just say what Master says. Every day is a good day in ENS, and looking forward to today's discussion. And someone's got to come up and talk about these ENS Maxi NFTs. I see them down there, a lot of them in our spaces every day. Someone's got to step up and represent a little today's show or tomorrow's show and tell us what the hell's going on with those.
Agreed. 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 I 100% agree about the ENS maxis. Somebody from the community definitely come up and talk about this is an ENS space and an ENS update space. I want to just recap one thing you said, Ron, before I go over to Master is the PFP space is boring now. Now that you said it, but when you look at PFPs and Web3 and NFTs and this that and the third, I think PFPs to me personally, because I'm nowhere near as interested as I was in PFPs when I first entered this space, right? But when you look at PFPs, it almost to me seems like that was just the beginning of potential of what Web3 is, beginning potential of NFTs, this technology, and now that we're kind of maturing and we're getting a little older, we're getting a little wiser, space is maturing a little bit and growing a little bit, we're seeing that there's other use cases, more quote unquote utility use cases involved in this Web3 space. So I think we'll only continue to mature. We'll only continue to grow. I think certain PFPs will continue to maintain high value punks, apes, so forth and so on. But I think we're also moving past that stage and we're exploring more options and new things and new capabilities of what Web3 is actually capable of. So that's a very interesting point that you made. But with that being said, let's go over to Master. Good morning. How you doing, man?
Hey, good morning, guys. I think maybe my connection is not so good as today. Kev, can you hear me clearly with electric
Sir. Yes,
voice or
sir.
not?
Loud and clear.
Okay, great. So yeah, we just broke 2 million yesterday, was a great milestone. And right now, we should focus more on the utility itself regarding ENS and regarding all the Web3, all the DWebs. We should be able to tell the difference between a Web3 project or a fake Web3 project by seeing their suffixes, because we see the last month there's a boost of the IPFS content association on the ENS. That date is the real utility instead of the trading. Trading is more like a speculation, and all the community within this space must feel more or less that you receive a lot of DMs. People want to sell the names to you, even they register only 1 to 2. So they send a very long DM to you introducing why this name is great, and they need some liquidity and they want to make a sale. And they even I see someone they kind of at Nick Johnson and try to sell some name to Nick and ask Nick how much his name worth. Nick was kind of sarcasm replying to him. I mean, yeah, that must be 69 E's. And that man quoted Nick's sarcasm. He didn't feel it, or he thinks he know it and he did it by means. And he quotes that message and say, hey, I only charge 6.9, while Nick Johnson said 69, something like that. Yeah. So we can feel these people are very annoying, right? These are not the true, the holders and the appreciators of ENS. But sooner or later, maybe these shit names can sell for some price, but it doesn't matter. What matters is that there's nothing that can stop this beast at this stage. That name rappers going live, more and more Web 3D webs are going live, and the people that have a pain point in Web 2 under the censorship will have a strong need here. And right now, I don't think we are there yet, because people don't have the habit to wire people crypto money, and people don't have the habit to use Brave or Opera, the decentralized browser, to access the DWeb, because the DWebs are so limited. But crypto is a word that we say never, and the crypto speed is amazing. We know how quick all the 3 and 4 digits got registered within 1 week, within 1 day, and they even put a floor onto it, like the light speed. And PFP community and ENS and domain community, I don't see there's any conflict between. We should respect each other. And right now, maybe PFP is famous, their community is strong because the price is higher, and the market only follow the speculation. As long as you can make money here, okay, lots of people will follow you. But ENS is not like that. Each collection of the PFP only have 10,000 pieces, but ENS has countless. You cannot list all the combination. It's just unlimited, right? That is the charming part of the dictionary. That is the charming part of domain. And once your name makes sense to someone, then that will be something. Not like a shit PFP that can means something to someone and can actually can also be meaning nothing to no one. It's the same case, right? So as long as Ethereum keeps stronger, as long as Ethereum migration over to the L2, everything is smooth. I mean, yeah, I think we are good. So we should not check on ENS Vision's floor price on daily basis, see it's cheap or low or high. No, I don't care about that. What I care about is the Ethereum community's development to see whether Ethereum is still leading the smart contract blockchain in the current market. If it is, then we have nothing to worry about at all. But if there's a challenging of a chaser, then we should focus and analyze what is the difference between them. But so far, I believe there is not a competition yet. There is not such a chain to challenge Ethereum's position, at least at this stage. But yeah, everything is possible. While we are staying bullish on Ethereum, we are staying bullish, super bullish on ENS as well. So yeah, fasten the seatbelt. We are all good. And 2 million is broken. I believe 3, 4, 5, 6 million, and even 10 billion is just within this year or next year. Everything will just come so quick. Yeah, just stay tuned and keep us posted. Thanks much, Kev.
Thank you, Master. And yeah, to your point, Master, I definitely think we hit 3 million this year. To be honest, I think we hit 3 million. Maybe in 4 months. Who knows? But this is my thing: is once the subdomain wrappers release and people start distributing that and playing around with that and really testing the capabilities of what that is, I think that's going to accelerate the amount of domains created. So I think we're going to hit 3 million fairly quickly. I did a poll, to say, hey, what do we hit by December 31st, 2022? 2.534 or 5 million. And it seems like most people agree that we're going to hit 3 million before end of year time. I want to go to NFT verse and then we'll go over to Guayman. NFT verse, how you doing, man?
Hey, Jim, everybody. Jim, Kev, thanks for staying consistent, bro, as always. With the ENS update show. If you were a little late, I was a little late too because I just lost track of time. Real life stuff going on. So, but I popped on. I was like, oh, there it is. Okay. So I was able to pop on this morning. But yeah, Kev, thanks, man, for that. Ron, for co-host and master. The other co-host as always, guys, staying consistent. And to the community, speakers on the panel, Gary, I see Gary Guayman 0095. I see Novak's up here, Crypto Reporter. Mafiko 3402, there's my girl, Just Shields. But yeah, I was on that space with Ron this morning, the NFT space. And Dot Earth was on there. And Ron, let me tell you what stood out to me in that space, because this was my second time, maybe a third time, listening to Alan talk about the protocol with the Dot Earth. What stood out to me this time, and just made me so much more bullish on just the technology behind what he's trying to do, was that he talked about taking not only using the subdomains to create that community, and then offering the particular the investment side of it, or shares or whatever for the particular community that holds those nomads. But he talked about visualizing, taking the block explorer or the block explorer map that they're building, and making it visual. So if you can think about taking a look at Etherscan. If you go to Etherscan now, the normal person would look at the Etherscan and not have a clue about what's going on in there, because there's just so much data. It's so technical. But from what I understood from him is they're trying to take what you would see on Etherscan and visualize it into transactions to make it more, user friendly to see what is happening, but in a visual map. Like if there was a board eight transaction, you would go to the visual map and you can see that board eight transaction visually. And if you wanted to drill down to it, maybe you could click on it and drill down to the metadata and understand what that transaction was. But let's say you did a board eight. Let's say you did a moon bird. Let's say you bought an ENS domain. All those would be visualizations of the transactions that occurred, but more user friendly from a user experience perspective. And when he talked about that, I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. That's really kind of pushing the envelope. And it makes me more bullish on the technology behind, the ENS domains, because he wouldn't be able to accomplish that without using the subdomain, protocol. So, in the name wrapper, because that's the key behind even making that come to fruition is the name wrapper. But the visualization, a visualization map of transactions, that's cool to me. I was like, that's pretty deep. I like that. I like how they're gonna push the envelope on that, and to bring new people in to this space where they're not so confused with a whole bunch of hashes and all of that stuff. That they'll get to that point, but they need that entry point first, and visualization would be key to being able to bring people in. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on that real quick. I was in there this morning. I really got to listen and learn what they were doing. He kind of went into a little bit better detail on this particular space, which I like. So I just want to share that with the community real quick. I look forward to the space today. Look forward to the discussion. Man, thanks for everybody being consistent. Community, thanks for showing up today. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I agree, man. I wasn't in the space, but based on what you're saying, I do think Etherscan is a little bit too complex for the average person, right? I'm somebody who's been using it for about a year, and then every time I go on it, I'm like, man, this is confusing, right? Just because it's just so much, right? I think they need to definitely improve the UX. But if you're saying this guy's basically improving the user experience, then that's key to mass adoption. So great points, NFT verse. I'm gonna take a look into that. But let's go back. Gwayman had his hand up. Let's go over to Gwayman. We'll keep it moving after that. What's good, bro?
Yo, good morning, y'all. I appreciate you having me up. I just wanted to hop up here real quick. I'll keep it real short and simple. Wanted to say thank you for hosting the space every day, bro. I love hearing from you. I've actually been off work all week, so I've been able to tune in a lot more. And then I want to give a shout out to NFT Verse for holding it down too. He's been having a couple pop-up sessions that have been really good. I wanted to come up here. I didn't join any speaking spaces whenever we were celebrating the 2 million. Everyone was requesting to speak to Alicia, and everyone was in here yesterday, so I just stayed down. But congrats to everybody that's here every day, man. This shit's sorry. This stuff is really going fast, and it's exciting to see. I came up here just real quick. I heard you mention these little ENS Maxi NFTs that we've been kind of seeing a little controversy, and I'm not up here to shill it. I just want to give my reasoning for one ENSP I've seen in these seconds, so we enjoy that too. Just a quick touch on it. It's pretty cool, but the reason why I wanted to grab one and I've been repping it is I think it still kind of screams ENS, you know. So instead of me rocking a goop or rocking just like some other PFP that might be expensive or something, I grabbed one of these for like $6, and I grabbed a couple more like $10. Like it wasn't nothing to me, and if I lose it, I lose it. But there is a little chat going on with them. And the reason why I like these is there's people that are into PFPs and still not into ENS. So I've seen people see the PFPs, they go and buy one, and then they get added to this little chat. And they're like, so what is ENS? Which I know it's crazy to think, but there's a lot of people that still don't know that. There's a lot of people that only do the PFP game. So there's been people that have grabbed this little PFP, and then they get shown how to register their first ENS. And then the next couple of days, they've been just going ham on ENS names. So it's cool. I just think it's it's a different way to spread awareness. And then it's also, I've called myself an ENS Maxi for over a year now. So then to have a wallet full of ENS names, and then you see the PFP on the profile is also screaming ENS. Like, I just kind of like how it backed the idea. So again, not up here to shield, but I heard the controversy and I heard you bring it up whenever I first got in here. So I just want to come up here and touch on it. I've had a few people tell me like, yo, like, why are you caring? Like, that's not ENS and this and that. I'm like, yeah, but there's a lot of profile pictures and NFTs that aren't ENS, but this at least kind of is up my alley. And I like how it kind of, like I said, spreads that awareness in a way. So I just want to come up here and touch on that. And again, say congrats to 2 mil and shout out to everyone that's here every day, man.
Yeah, what I like I said, I don't know about any controversy. I don't know anything about them other than I've been seeing them and I see they have spaces. going with 30, 40 people. Seems like 24/7. But yeah, hey, there's a little bit of synergy there, and vice versa. There's synergy with the ENS side, and if we can generate, you'll notice as you look down the space in any spaces, very few people don't rock a PFP. So yeah, I don't think PFPs are dead. I think as ENS grows and as digital identity grows, and these millions, tens of millions, billions of people come, I think everyone's going to want a PFP of some type. So yeah, I think there's definitely some synergy there. Look forward to hearing a little more about it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ron. PFPs PFPs 100% are not dead, but the statement of I agree with that statement. It's digital identity. I think we'll even begin to see more PFPs, right? But just to kind of go back on my statement earlier, I wasn't bashing PFPs by no means or trying to underplay PFPs. I just was trying to say the technology is improving, we're maturing, and we're going to continue to see more use cases of what Web3 is really capable of and made of. We have two people with the hand up. Let's go Novak, and then we'll go Mathico.
Hey, good morning, all. I just wanted to, I'm a little sleepy because I was up so late bullhorning for January Walker, who's a congressional candidate in Utah, and she's on the speaker panel here on the stage. So it'd be awesome just to kind of welcome you and say, January, you have such a revolutionary cause, being, the first political campaign funded by NFTs. You could see the pinned tweet that I pinned up in the carousel, and I just wanted to introduce January and let you guys know that she's out here doing awesome stuff.
Novax, come on, man.
No, I wanted. So I actually was invited to this space, not by Novax, by another speaker. I think this was the Crypto Reporter. And if somebody helps out as much as they did last night, I think it's polite to show up when they invite you out again. And I really wanted to do two things. One was express my gratitude. Last night was a wild ride, and it got crazy, and you guys handled it excellently. And I did enjoy the state anthem and your entire introduction. I would probably use that in a video in the future, just because it was so good. From now on, you're my spokesman in terms of announcements. But the second thing that I wanted to share is when I first started in this space, one of the things that I picked up was a .eth, and that's something that you don't forget. And I just thought that I would share that with all of you, since I feel that at the end of the day, we're all like-minded. Like, for me, I'm fairly neutral in terms of, who is the best. I know that we all have strong feelings, but I'm trying to be a representative voice for everybody here. And so we've had a lot of people from this group lean in and help us out. And I just wanted to say thank you.
Hey, January, what district do you represent? District 4, where is that? What cities is that?
Yeah, so Utah's District 4 goes through part of Salt Lake. This is going to be south, if you're familiar with the area, South Jordan, West Jordan, Saratoga, Eagle Mountain, all the way down through like Springville, Spanish Fork, Manti, Ephraim, until you hit Gunnison. I don't know how familiar you are with Utah, but it cuts out Provo, and it cuts through half of Lehigh, which is a huge tech hub. Like, it is the tech hub of, I would say, Utah, and it's growing in size. It's going to pass California here.
Yeah, Silicon Slopes here. No, that's interesting. My wife
Silicon,
has a
exactly.
Utah, so my wife has a house in Utah, so that's why I was just curious.
Wait, who's in Utah?
My wife has a house there, so I spend part of my time there.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Well, I won't have you share what part of Utah, but that's super interesting. It's always nice to meet people that have connections locally, because we expanded to such a wide audience to build understanding about what we were trying to do and add validity to it before we really started hitting it back with the districts again.
Well, it's always good to see. I support any politician that knows anything about crypto, because there's not enough, obviously. So good to have you aboard.
Well, thank you. And I didn't want to commandeer your space. I just wanted to express my gratitude again. .eth.
Eve, that's the way to go. Hey, January, thank you for stopping by. Shout out to the Crypto Reporter and Novak. It seems like Crypto Reporter invited you, but Novak kind of stole the show there. Um, but I just want to say, I think what you're doing is pretty cool, right? Integrating. You see, this is what this country needs, right? And I'm going to keep my political opinions to myself, but I think we need more of this, right? I think we need more innovation, more revolution, more movement, more like get with the times, bro. Get with the times. This is the direction of the future is going. So to see you kind of incorporate that as much as you can into your campaign and what you're trying to do, gives me hope for the future. If you want to talk about this real quick, you said so you're doing your campaign with NFTs. What is that all about? If you want to talk about that real quick.
Yeah, so we tried to get a few NFTs launched. One of them was on this chain, and for whatever reason, like the requirements for the FEC, they had to be very specific for us to be compliant, and it was very difficult for developers to get it off the ground. And so we had a few failed attempts. But when the Cardano community heard what we were trying to do, like this is a gift from the Cardano community to everybody, right? They're just trying to help, and this was their contribution. And they found the artists, they helped us find the developers, and they delivered it in 10 days with these complex requirements. And the goal here is to get dark money out of politics. This is going to be your corporations, your lobbyists, and that kind of thing, and create true traceability, instantaneous traceability, just to be like, hey, these are coming from reputable people, and this individual is not bought and paid for. So this is a real life application and utility of NFTs beyond just the pictures that people are familiar with, and this is going to expand into ticketing, sporting events. We want to connect it in with a end life concert. So if we raise enough money, we have a artist out here. They're fairly big. They're a huge YouTube artist, but they've agreed to come out and then do their concert on an NFT. So the goal is to inform people about the space, show that there's nothing to fear, set aside the FUD that we've been hearing about for such a long time, and kind of give people a sense of history and provide a path forward for other politicians. So if we are super successful, one, in leaning into the crypto space and having fundraising come from this group, and if we are super successful with these NFTs, other politicians will adopt this, and they'll adopt it at an accelerated rate. And that's personally what I would like to see.
Love it, January. You are innovating. You are what this future needs. So shout out to you, January. You're welcome on this space any day of the week that you feel like coming on. We do this every Monday. This is the perfect time for a reset. Ladies and gentlemen, this is ENS Updates. We do this every Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to about 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is the number one space in all of Twitter, right? So if you're here, you are special. If you're a part of this space right now, you are a special individual. You're early, and you have a lot of great things ahead of you. But with that being said, I do want to pass it over to Mafiko. Mafiko, the stage is yours. I know you had your hand up.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Kev. Yeah, I'm having some tech difficulties today, so bear with me, guys. If you can't hear me, yeah, please let me know. A couple of things I wanted to talk about today. I would say both bullish and perhaps maybe bearish, but more so in terms of painting a picture of realistically where we're at and realistically where we might go from here. First thing, I've just seen, Kevin, I tagged you that there's another exchange that's looking now to list 4 digits in terms of what I think KuCoin did. So they're basically off the back of that, another exchange has decided to do a kind of similar thing. And I'm extremely bullish about this, because if you guys know anything about kind of exchange traded funds in the Web2 world and how quickly that grew in terms of market adoption and how big as an asset class like exchange traded funds are now, it's a really, really big thing in terms of seeing these exchanges looking to bundle 4 digits together and providing, that as a service or offering to people. So that's really, really exciting. I think overall, though, in terms of sort of the regulatory space, I think something we have to be mindful of is we're now starting to creep into the territory of like digits or ENS and NFTs in general being seen as securities. And I know there's been conversations about that, but just something to bear in mind going forward in terms of what exactly that'll look like across jurisdictions and what that'll mean for all of us remains to be seen. But main point, another exchange is coming on board. So I've seen sort of digits running today. I think they're sitting at like 4 digits, sitting at about 1.5 ETH. So that's really, really exciting. Second thing I wanted to talk about real briefly was I had a discussion yesterday with somebody on Twitter, and they were saying like, oh, PFPs are not doing well during this bear, but ENS is, and it's because of influences. And I had to push back on that because from my vantage point, from what I'm seeing is people finally realizing the inherent utility in ENS. In that, we talk about this space, we talk a lot about an NFT space utility, but what actually true utility looks like is what we've all been taking for granted. Is what we all use every day. Is that simplifying your payments, transferring between people, or using it as your form of identity, or building community, those kind of things. That's inherent in ENS. And so I think in terms of my sense is it's not just influences. Obviously, influences play a part in the space, but it's a real groundswell of people who've come together and are seeing this as really the true NFT project of actually what at first one of the first instances of what NFTs can actually represent and actually benefit the people from day to day. On the other side of that, last thing I want to point out is around the domain wrapper. And I've been thinking about this in terms of what it will mean for us. Is it priced into like evaluations of ENS right now? I would say partly it is. I don't think in the next 12 to 18 months, the domain wrapper will play a prominent role unless we start to get more corporates coming on board in terms of ENS. I think that's going to be the critical thing with the domain wrapper. If we get more corporate adoption and more companies coming in from Web 2 to Web 3, then I think the domain wrapper will play a pivotal role. If that adoption is a bit slower, then I think it'll take a little bit more time for the domain wrapper to play out. But that's just my early thinking. I'd love to hear you guys your thoughts on it. But yeah, thanks, Kev, for having me up. And as always, this is a phenomenal space.
Thank you, man. I thought you make some. I think you make some really great points. I agree. And Gary talks about this a lot. Just being cautious when the domain wrapper first comes around, right? Just being cautious about it, not being so quick to wrap just to wrap. But ultimately, I think that's mass adoption, right, Mafigo? I think mass adoption is when these big institutions, these big corporations, these big Web3 companies / Web2 companies come in and they assign all their users or customer lists or whatever, however they want to innovate with this, the wrapper. That's when I think we really go parabolic and we go to the next level. So thank you. I think we made great points. And one thing before I pass it over to O1, I think is really vital that we talk about is another exchange is coming in and buying more digits and basically permanently taking it off the market. If this keeps happening, the supply of the 4-digit supply is going to get a lot more scarce. And just keep that in mind of where this thing can be in the years to come. So interesting times ahead for sure. O1, well, Mafika, do you want to add on to that before we go to O1?
Yeah, I just wanted to say really quickly. So what's interesting to me with these exchanges is that they're taking 4 digits off the market, but they're not taking 3 digits off the market. So I don't know why that is. Is it because the annual sort of like they see this as a short-term play and the annual cost of renewing the 3 digits is too high for them and they don't see it as a potential play? Or why is it this the 4 digits are being taken off the market but not the 3 digits? It's just something that's a burning question in my mind.
It's crazy because there was just a tweet with Player One who basically said a statement similar to that in the company that actually went in and swept all the 4 digits said after basically the 4 digits basically up 180% since launch or something like that, and they said they're taking a serious look. I'm going to find it and pin it to the top. They basically said they're taking a serious look into acquiring some 3 digits. So I don't know how serious that was. I don't know if that was for clickbait or tweet engagement, but that company that DAO did actively say that on Twitter. So I'm going to pin that up shortly. So we could do with that information as we like. So 3 digit sweep might be next. O1, the stage is yours.
Good morning, Kev. Thank you so much for bringing me up here. Good morning, everyone. I'm very, very bullish on the digits now. Seeing the 4 digits moving, the 3 digits moving, it makes me even more bullish on ENS. So I keep hearing you guys, Master Ron, every day, and learning from you has been, an honor to be on Spaces and understanding more of ENS. What I see is that the biggest challenge is to get more users to know about ENS. And the reason why I wanted to add something to what Grayman said earlier today about the ENS maxes is that seems to me like the least amount of friction needed to get people into ENS. And the reason why is because it's easier to explain ENS and its functionality to people who already use wallets. They already know crypto. They know how to transfer funds. So those people right now would be the NFT communities. So it's amazing to see them joining the spaces that are being run 24/7 pretty much at this point, and they have no clue what ENS is. And they simply start asking questions like, what is this? What does it do? How do I get one? Why do I need one? So it's much easier to explain to that crowd what ENS is and how they can, improve their lives with it in the future than trying to explain it to the average person on the street. So that's why when I saw Grayman's Maxi PFP, I jumped on it right away because I look up to him and say, well, this guy has been in the community for a while. What is this? And I went to look up ENS Maxis, and I was like, oh, all right, this is cool. I haven't bought an NFT in a while, and since ENS is everything I can think about for the past 4 months straight, and I'm just in love with it, that was a no-brainer. So I'm so excited about the fact that they are helping people get to know ENS, and I keep pointing everybody to listen into these spaces, your daily spaces. Like, awesome. I appreciate what you do. I think you were on the spaces with Alicia yesterday as well. It was amazing for the celebration of the 2 million registration. So, congrats to all of us. But remember, we're in the bubble. We all love ENS already. Okay, what we need is to learn how to onboard people, and to me the most obvious way is through NFTs. So regardless of the reason why people want to buy an ENS Maxi or talk about it or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. What matters is it's bringing people to the community. The entry price is very low now. It's about $20 or $30, and there's multiple reasons why you would get one. You can take that for giveaways in the future. You can simply have that as badges of OGs in the future. People are releasing those POAPs to show that they were there in the beginning. So it's just a great way to show our love to ENS, and I'm loving it. It's been fun. The community's fun, very informative, and being with you guys here today is amazing too. So I will definitely keep coming here. I appreciate all the hard work you guys do. Keep dropping all that knowledge on us, Ron, Master, all the OGs, Novax, Gary. Please keep on dropping all that knowledge. The community is going to grow, and they were always going to appreciate our work, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, O1. It means a lot, right? And this is my daily gratitude session for everyone here, right? To the co-hosts, to the speakers, to the listeners. This is a special space because you make it so, right? Because you're participating in it, because you're actively involved and engaged, and people are coming up and sharing their thoughts and opinions. And if it was just me and Ron speaking the whole entire show, it probably wouldn't be as good, right? It's because it's community engagement, and we hear so many different opinions, thoughts, perspectives, cultures, backgrounds. I think that's what makes this show so special. But we have Just Shields with his hand up, and then we'll go to Gary, and then I'm gonna go ahead and bring some speakers on stage. So let's do that.
GM 5169, are you able to hear me okay?
5159, bro. Yeah, I can hear you though.
Yeah, man, I completely apologize. I've been going without any sleep, bro. Like 5159, bro. You the man,
All
bro.
good,
You can
man.
only imagine how my eyes are looking at the screen right now because this ENS is just pure addiction, man. Day in, day out, man. Once again, I apologize, but at the same time, I just want to say thank you, 5159, because thank you for your consistency. Thank you for your persistency. This is something I really look forward to, regardless of how lack of sleep I have. This is my place for pumping gas into Just Shills, into the person behind Just Shills, because the mindset and the concept and the whole scenario that comes here together, man, it just takes it on a whole different level. And let me tell you, those who've been coming here, they will slingshot to the next level. That's without a shadow of a doubt, and that's what really happened to me. I'm definitely just like everybody else, hungry for pure knowledge, and you get it right here. You get it right here through 5159, through his path, connected with Ron. So thank you for co-hosting. Then you have Master, being practical, and then strategy, and then creativity, and then negotiations. Man, you can't get this anywhere else but this place. ENS updates, like my mentor used to say, that we used to host conferences before, but let me tell you, ENS updates, it's like breakfast of champions, right? If you want to win and you want information, man, this is the place to be. I see here we have Gary Palmajor Jr. I got Novax. Brother Novax, man, your compliment as of this morning was just so heart-filling. I just want you to stay genuine, stay true to yourself, bro. There's no one like you, so I respect you for who you are. And everything that you say is valuable when it comes to words Just Shields, man. So I just don't want to take that away from you, because it's not just Shields, bro. It's this entire community that comes strong, right? So, because together we grow. The NFT works, man. I can't wait for the ENS Friday night and all the nuggets that you drop in. Obviously, 3402, the Queen is here. I've gotten a lot of sessions with her as well. But guys, I want to share some. I want to take out the time to share something really, really empowering. I know I spoke about it briefly yesterday, but I just wanted to share that with you right now live. And I'm not sure if 5159, if you're able to pin this. I did send you a message on tweet. As of this morning, I believe 3 and change. I can't remember the time. It's just been so empowering. But as of this morning, Just Shields now, basically cryptoexpodubai.com has listed Just Shills, the ethical way, Together We Grow, as one of their partners. And for me, I feel like maybe this is the least I can do for the community just right now. I know there's more to come, but the way I see it is, we now have a footprint in the entire Dubai, in the Crypto Expo Dubai, which is one of the biggest events that happen, and people fly in from all over the world. And when they do see Just Shills there, and they go to the content of Just Shills, right? It'll say Just Shills, and it redirects them to Twitter. And when you come to Twitter, you see .com, and then you see .eth. It's a raising aspect. It's just like, hey, did got milk, or did you got got ETH? And I think to be able to be, it's not because of just one person, man. It's the whole army. And this is what happens when you stay put at the right place with the right sources. You gather the details, and you continue to improve and equip yourself. There's no end to the limit as to where a person can go. It's so I would agree with this. That, I remember my parents used to say, "Show me your friends, and I'll tell you where you're going to be the next couple years." Who are your friends in the community? Who do you work with? Who are you hearing from? Where is this information coming to you? And I feel like when you're connected at the right place, with the right people, more importantly, that have good ethics, that have good morals, um, you have a potential. Everybody is a winner, and everybody, and no one's there. It doesn't really matter where you're from. It doesn't matter where your character is. uh, Nothing really matters. All it matters is, how hungry are you, and are you willing to go the extra mile with the best of the best. Are you willing to put yourself out there? So 5159, man, thank you for hosting this space, bro. I got a little worried this morning, man, because you're that light of the day that I look forward to. So GM brother Ron, thank you. A lot of data being just enormously shared with the entire community. Master, thank you once again. Gary Palma Jr., man, thank you. I know I missed our meeting because, some days I go without any sleep. So I'm sorry I missed that. But NFT Worth 3402, you guys know, man, you guys rock. And then also I want to give a special shout out to Crypto Reporter, man. Dude, the data you've been putting in the alpha, I can absolutely vision it, that you'll be on the events and conferences. Maybe you'll be with me in the Crypto Expo Dubai, sharing that nuggets and knowledge. Anything is possible in the world, man. But you've shown a lot of drive. And when you come from that aspect, bro, there's no limit. So I definitely wish you all the best. I know everybody here is going to be winning. It's just a matter of time. And then, you know what? When one starts winning, we all start winning. So once again, thank you, everybody. Totally appreciate you guys.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words, Just Shills. Very, very much appreciated, man. So keep spreading love and positive vibes into the community, brother. Much appreciated, man. Um, we'll keep it moving right along, y'all. We have quite a few people with their hand up, quite a few people waiting to come up and speak. So I'm gonna go ahead and I do want to say what's up to Gary. Then we'll go to Crypto Reporter. Then we'll go to 3402. Gary, how you doing, man?
Hey everybody, GM. Yeah, super excited. 2 million ENS names is huge. Non-playable. Just did an article. We're gonna be posting that in like a couple hours here at web3domains.com. Still in a soft launch stage, but definitely encouraging anyone who wants to check that out to check that out. Looking for any feedback from marketing technology professionals and you folk out there for web3domains.com. Who was it earlier? I think it was Master was saying that, it's isn't legitimate, or maybe they don't know exactly what they're doing because they're either launching a .crypto or a .DAO or just ETH, or you're not using ENS. And that can make it really, really obvious and really apparent, that they're lacking information and they don't have good consultants who they could have easily hired by hanging out in this room. Good advisors like all of these ENS maxis in this room who understand these things. But everyone here knows that I've invested everything over the past 5 or 6 years in the ENS, or just about. And moving forward, I've pivoted everything into ENS. But for me, I want people to recognize that what's most important for me in this space is decentralization and immutability, and like being here for the revolution. Having information that is publicly verifiable, having a community that is collaborative, having a community that's open, right? That anybody can access, open and borderless, not just publicly transparent. Because what we're seeking to do is to create a censorship-resistant system, so there's an even playing ground technologically for all of us to stand upon, so we can have relationships with each other technologically or whatever online, and we can have messages between each other, and we can have trust between each other because we have trustlessness. Because instead of having to worry about, these middlemen, which used to be very trusted institutions. Like we all know that we don't have that anymore in the news. We don't have that anymore with the leaders of technology. We don't have that anymore with politicians. By and large, I'm not saying there aren't like good politicians or good technological leaders or and all this stuff. I'm just saying overall, we live in a corrupt world with a corrupt system with a lot of weaknesses in the links of, the paper mache chain of Web 2. And so here we are in Web 3. And no matter like what your side of politics, is, the way that it works is like when you're in charge, you attack the people not in charge, and then when the people who are not in charge regain power, then they attack the people who used to attack them, who are now no longer in charge. And we got to be really, really careful, because I'm telling you, I remember Web 2, and everything we said about Web 3, we said about Web 2, being the utopia potential of full opportunity. We're all going to have information. We're all going to know everything. And we all have supercomputer smartphones that are more powerful than what got us to the moon. And we're just scrolling through from pictures of cats to NFTs of cats. And what happened is that all the the T1 lines, the T3 lines, the pipes to access the internet and to relay the internet, a lot of that got consolidated. And with all the consolidation, there's just less good things for you. You have less choice, and it's about making money off of you, not giving free access to this information. And so I'm bringing this all up. Love me or hate me, because it's always gets a reaction out of people. And love Brantley.f or hate Brantley.f. But we have to be really, really careful about who and what has the ability to, unilaterally decide for everybody else who gets to be censored, who gets to be excluded, who gets allowed to participate. Because it's not a matter of if we agree with what Brantley said or if we don't agree. Because first of all, he's never had any actions that hurt anybody, and no one's ever had. They just have a problem with, something he said. Yeah, I don't want to get into it. It's not based on actions is the point. He didn't do anything. It's just like what he tweeted and what he said. I don't want to get into that. But it's very easy for people to be going from upset about whatever it is that they're upset about Brantley to them being upset about the opposite of that, or them being upset about anything, right? And we got to be really careful that this technology doesn't, do the things that, we're here to create censorship resistant, immutable technology. If we win, if ENS is successful, if all your bags are worth millions of dollars, it's kind of because anybody is going to be able to say whatever they want. And there might be repercussions for them for saying what they said. But we can't, in Web3, we can't exclude people and allow ideologies of exclusion, right? It's like some people who are doing the excluding, they're saying, well, we don't want to allow the ideologies of Brantley because that's hurting people. Yeah, but if you allow the ideologies of exclusion, then eye for an eye, the whole world is blind, and blockchain technology won't exist. Blockchain technology will be used for tracking human slaves, tracking humans in the supply chain, right? For loaning you out, Fed coin dollars, which will forever be inflated. And, you're just going to repeat the same mistakes. And so I don't want to get into the politics of religion or politics or, it's like, I'm a heathen, just for the reference. I'm a heathen, and I'm a crazy guy, but, I'm here for freedom. And this whole thing with what's going on with the signing with Ethereum team now excluding Brantley, for me, it's very sensitive, because you could say, well, that's just the technology, or that's just the meetings, right? But the signing with Ethereum, they're proposing a I don't want to get into this because this is like kind of longer, but they're proposing, like, in order for sign into Ethereum to work and for it to work very easy for people, they have to make this server, and they want to have the server controlled with a DAO. And how decentralized is that DAO going to be? And if someone has an ENS website that they don't like, right? You say, oh, that's crazy, but they would literally have the power to like censor that website. And if it's okay for them to censor one person for this reason, then I'm sorry, it's just like so easy for them to get to a point where they're going to censor me for something that I think is normal. Or they're going to censor someone else, right? And then they're going to censor you. So I'm not here for the money. I don't care if I sacrifice relationships. I don't care if I sacrifice money. I don't care if I sacrifice, like practically anything, right? Like my purpose of being here is for fighting for you, and it's for fight for me. It's the fight for our freedom. It's the fight for this technology, because this is literally like, yeah, something. I mean, before blockchain technology, guys, I was hopeless. I was hopeless for the state of our world after Occupy Wall Street, and like how difficult it is for people to have health care or education, and how much division there is in the world to distract people and to fight against each other instead of like focusing on the problems, and how money was the root of all that, all of that desire, right? Like money's not the root to all evil, but people, because they have so much money, they have, money does offer power, and they have the power to control. And blockchain technology has re-given us the opportunity to have an equal playing field where everybody can have the same rules. Doesn't matter how much money you have. Like, yeah, if you have money, then maybe you're smarter, or maybe you know how to use that money. Like, just because you have your money, it doesn't mean you're smarter. But if you have a little bit of money, you know how to use it, then you could throw your weights around. But if you just dollar cost average like Bitcoin, you will make it in life. If you dollar cost average dollars, you will become poor, because that's how the old system works versus the new system works. And we can't recreate the division and the exclusions from the old system. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Gary, for the heartfelt message, man. I agree. I think, if this is decentralized, if this is really the future that we say we want, how can we censor one individual for his personal thoughts and opinions? So, I think you raise great awareness on that matter. Thank you for sharing that. That is Gary Palmer Jr., ladies and gentlemen. We'll keep it moving. Let's go, Crypto Reporter. Crypto Reporter, how you doing, man?
Hey everybody, GM. You guys always get me when I'm actually like doing something, and never when I'm actually not doing anything. But here I'm going to pass the mic real quickly because I'm about to, I gotta order food, man. I'm a little hungry today, but I'll hop back on in a second.
Cool. Let's go to our lovely ENS Queen 3402. How are you doing?
GM, Kev, Ron, Master, community. I've missed the show the last few days. Code finally caught up with me, feeling better now and happy to be here. Amazing to have surpassed 2 million names registered only 3.5 months after reaching 1 million. Here we are. So congrats to everyone here who's been working hard and pushing for mass adoption by educating, learning, spreading awareness, building. It's great to see, and to be able to celebrate these milestones together is amazing. And the name wrapper will be here before we know it, less than a month away. Subdomains have been the main driving force, I think, behind what many of us are using to build and onboard. I strongly believe one of the biggest use cases for subdomains will be with NFT projects, at least in the near future. These projects will be able to link their collections to subdomains for holders. But the problem I found after looking into this is these projects will actually need a custom user interface and contract deployment. I was told by somebody that someone in the community is working on developing this contract right now. So that's good to hear. I'm not sure how long it will take, which leads me to ask you all the question. Does anyone have any concerns regarding subdomains? Because I know the entire community, we're all bullish. I'm very bullish, but I'd love to hear if anybody has any counter thoughts or roadblocks you foresee early on. Thanks for having me on, Kev, and always staying consistent. Happy to be here.
Thanks for the great thoughts and comments around the subdomain. I certainly have some concerns, and it perhaps is because I don't have a good understanding of how it's actually going to be implemented and the sort of the technical details. I have heard things around the fact that once you've locked the name in, sort of into the subdomain wrapper, that it's not easy to get the name out. But again, I may be completely wrong. I'd love to hear what people's thoughts. I think as well, there's just not a good basis in Web 2, and that's not a bad thing, but there's not a good comparable sort of example of how this is going to play out. So obviously, when we talk about digits, you can go, yeah, well, digits are popular in the .com world, or three letters and the rest of it. But I think the domain wrapper just presents a new use case, which is exciting. But at the same point, I think it's just going to take a bit of time for us to work out how it all is going to play out. And I don't think it's going to be an easy kind of like, I don't expect put it this way, I don't expect the domain wrapper to launch and all of a sudden like names, everyone is like scrambling to create the subdomains, and all of a sudden we get like an influx of like huge influx of new adoption into the space. I think it'll be a very kind of like, great, it's here, and then now what? Like, how do we actually use this now? And with the NFT projects, that's going to take some time as well in the bear. Some projects will potentially use it, but again, there's not a lot of projects launching right now, so that's going to also drag on in terms of the adoption of the subdomain wrapper. But I come back to corporations and institutions. When they get into the space, it'll make sense for them to really, deploy that.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Mafiko. We'll keep it moving right along. Crypto Reporter is back. Crypto Reporter, hey, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I had to get some Chick-fil-A in because it's a beautiful morning, and you gotta eat a little something, But real quick, shout out to everybody in the space. You guys have been holding it down. 5159, man, you were like minutes off, and I was like, well, what's happening? Like, this has become such a part of my morning routine at this point. I was like, yo, like, what happened? Like, I was worried for like you and the fam, because I was like, what's going on? Like,
Yeah,
so,
I had a meeting right before this. I kind of extended over time, so
yeah,
that's
yeah.
good.
But it was it's all good. It's all good. What I really wanted to say, because I know we're running low on time, is guys, keep building with the community. Shout out Ron, just master, giving me opportunities. Shout out Gary. I know we gotta talk after this, so I'm gonna try to get some food in. But I would say to everybody in the space, whatever questions you have, you are standing amongst giants in the space. So keep building, keep learning, guys. We are at the precipice of something very, very great. We've seen what Bitcoin has done, in Ethereum has done, going from an asset class. I mean, when you think about it, it's reached 10 years. It goes from zero to a trillion. And then if listen to, I think his name is Michael Saylor, who is very good at explaining all this. We're really starting to see the institutions now go for it. So if you go from zero to a trillion in decade one, you're now starting to go from zero to a trillion, and then from 1 trillion to 100 trillion, right? When people start to realize what an amazing asset class this is, or what amazing technology is behind the asset class, then they're going to start looking and start figuring out, okay, we need to be able to actually deploy capital. Another great thing that we're starting to see with the ENF space, that we've kind of all realized, like, we don't really, we know at the end of the day, yeah, here, let me say this. We know at the end of the day that ETH and ENS is continuing, but there's something about giving something a name. And, the first thing that God did at in the beginning, right, is He said, "Let there be light," and then He started giving everything names. Um, I think that the name, giving something a name, actually identifying it, has so much more of a use case than um, what we realize. I'm sorry, I'm kind of rambling. I'm kind of trying to get through the day. A lot of things on my head. A lot of things I wish I could say that I'm not going to be able to have the time to say. Shout out to January. I'm not sure if she's still in the crowd, but I invited her on this space because I feel like it's important to kind of keep people who are aware of this technology in the loop. Um, I invited her on because I believe that anybody that knows what Web3 is, knows what crypto is, and the real implications behind it. I feel like it's important to be able to bring to the discussion. But I know I'm rambling, so yeah, I'm gonna pass off the mic. I love all y'all. Stay safe out here because it's a crazy world. And yeah, I'll have better things to say hopefully next week.
Yeah, man. I want to say thank you for inviting on January. I think that is huge. And I think if we all could play our part and just invite one person, it doesn't even have to be to this space. There's other phenomenal ENS spaces that are hosted that I attend here and there. Just invite them to an ENS space, right? Get them on board, help them on board, right? It's, I think, playing our part in at least sending out that invitation, because I forgot who said it earlier, but yeah, we're ENS Maxis. We're here every single day. This is our morning routine almost, right? But it's, how do we go beyond that? How do we onboard to more people who are maybe not as big into ENS, don't know as much about ENS, or never even heard about ENS, and that's what my mission is here, right? My mission is to continue to educate those people and onboard those people into the space. Let's go 184. Then we'll go ETH Galaxy, and then we'll go ENS Punks.
Good afternoon, everyone speaking and listening. I'll do my best not to be an oxygen thief, but today has been I think, a absolutely great discussion, and I actually have a lot to say, but I'm going to do callbacks here. So firstly, Gary Palmer, that share, I want to encourage everyone to take note of that share, jump on his profile, read what's going on right now, and challenge yourself on what you think and where you want this space to go. If you don't understand what's happening right now, please, I encourage you to go take a look. It is thoroughly worth your time. These are important things on the direction of ENS, and it's my opinion that ENS is Ethereum. You cannot have one without the other. I think that we do not want to set it. We really want to steer this in the right direction. So please find out about that. But I want to continue the conversation with Gweeman and Mafiko. And I'll first share that generally I try to speak when I think the obvious is potentially not obvious to some, or when something warrants a look back. And a lot of times I share or contribute something based on my experience. And my experience is that I've watched my wife's family lose their entire life savings through their lack of education, getting involved in scams, promises, and things like that. The fallout from that is heartbreaking, and I just can't stand it. So I tend to speak when I think something like that is going on. It's not my intention right now to shit on anything, and I hope that comes clear from the next thing I'm going to say. So I'm not a fan of ENS Maxis, but I'm not the gatekeeper of ENS. So for that reason, it's unnecessary for me to use this space as platform to share why I'm not a fan. I think there are projects that are working on avatars and PFP projects that are involving wrap subdomains with super domain structures, and more of them are going to show up, and I encourage everyone to look into that, dedicate your energy into ENS domains and functions. But again, I'm not the gatekeeper. The specific share today from Gweeman, I cannot fault. I support the outcomes of what he said. I love how it was shared. And again, I don't need to use the platform for other opinions. That part over. I want to speak to Mafiko and the rapper. So I think the rapper is going to be the ultimate creator of competition. Premium names on premium super domains, coined by Gary, are going to compete with every derivative, alternative, and non-obvious domain. And the market, I don't think, is factoring that in, or at least the speculators with short timeframes are not quite factoring that in. The wrapper is going to dilute the supply of everything out there by creating new grails, grails on grails. And so in an already low demand market that's got unlimited supply, it's going to change the game. I don't think it's factored in, but I don't think we're going to see that exponential explosion. And I share your view that it's going to be businesses that set the tone for that just as much as communities and networks that create that sort of infrastructure. So again, I think keep your eyes on subdomains and keep your eye on that long, long time frame. It's been a great day. I've loved hearing everything. I've loved being challenged personally today. Thank you all.
Wow, great points, 184. Great points. Grell on Grell on Grell. Yeah, man. I think we wait and see. I think at this point for us is we wait and see what happens, how this plays out, where this goes from here. But you make great points. We're going to go a little over today since we started a tad bit late. I do want to give a major shout out to 00 in the crowd. I know that I have to watch the Yahoo interview right after this. I'm actually going to go and watch that interview. So ENS Vision did an interview with Yahoo Finance. So I'm very excited to see how that was. So far, what I'm seeing, it looked like they went well. So let's go over to Eve Galaxy. Eve Galaxy, how you doing, man?
Good, GM. It's been a while since I spoke to you guys. 184, I'm going to build off what you're saying. There's going to be a few different tools working on helping to set up your subdomains, which was 3402 who was asking about it. I think 00 has something coming up like that, so I'm looking forward to it. I do have my own concerns. I'll be cautious about it. But speaking of subdomains, 5159, I hope you don't mind. I pinned at the top, ENS just minted some subdomains. Root.ens, registry.ens, registrar, resolver. If you guys don't know what they are, I've given some definitions in the follow-up tweets to that pinned thread. And then just feeding off what Gary Palmer was talking about, I am aligned with his thinking. I don't like this exclusionary behavior, but that's what ETH is not about, Ethereum. It's the way I like to picture it is if you're sharing a bank account with your most hated enemy, whatever he does to the bank account to improve it, improves your bank account. If he hardens it because he's concerned from something, he hardens yours. And that's what this composability settlement layer that Ethereum is all about. And it's, for me, it's a win-win situation. It takes politics out of money because I don't want to go into it too deep, but that's my view on it. I'm excited about the subdomains, and that's it. I hope everyone's having a great day. Every day is a good day in ENS. Shout out to everyone.
Thank you, Eve Galaxy. You're right. Every day is a good day in ENS. At least that's what we all think over here. Let's go over to ENS Punks. ENS Punks, how you doing today, man?
Hey, GM Kev, I'll do my best. Everybody knows me a little long-winded, but I'll try to keep it short with the time going on. So, yeah, just shout out to everybody from the hosts, the co-hosts, to speakers, the community listening in. I think it's unfortunate. If there was more time, I'd really love to kind of jump in, this idea of everything from, censorship resistance to immutability to, free speech to, freedom of religion to, hate speech to the very real issues we're going to face with censorship resistant websites and the problems that will bring with it. And maybe the last sort of kind of cherry on the top in terms of that topic, is even community standards. It is a whole thing. I'd love to see the community get together, have a space It should probably be separate from ENS updates. Inevitably, we would probably do our best to have good faith conversation, but inevitably, the way those things wind up, people get so passionate and everything is so personal to their personal morals and ethics. Those things do tend to boil over. So I wouldn't want it to happen here. But it's important because that is really some of the best. It's is like the Charles Dickens book, A Tale of Two Cities, right? It's the best of times, it was the worst of times. This technology is going to enable the best of humans and the worst of humans. And sometimes you got to take the good with the bad, like coming from the law perspective, right? We look at it like innocent until proven guilty. And the reason we do that is we don't want the government persecuting innocent people. We would rather 1,000 innocent people go free than to see one guilty, or excuse me, 1,000 guilty people go free rather than see one innocent person convicted. That's the idea. So there's different philosophies, different points of view. I certainly, like I always say, I've got that legal bias, and this technology is really, in the communities, kind of helped me to a large extent sort of wash it from my eyes and look at things from a different perspective. That's why I think it's important to sort of open the doors to that conversation. Although, it's inevitable that we'll see some real emotions flying when that happens. Maybe more importantly, I talked about it a little bit yesterday, but just as a heads up, tomorrow there's going to be another ENS DAO space. Alicia is going to come back to the table. She's going to talk about Gitcoin grants round 15. And shout out to the Queen 3402 and myself. Last time around, I talked about it yesterday, so I won't get too deep. But Prim.eth, right? He reached out to me and said, hey, can you send me a donation for a Gitcoin grant? I have got 0 donated to me. And it blew my mind. It's heartbreaking. Prim.eth is a dev. He's like heavily involved in the DAO. He's a dev working on that name wrapper. We're talking about subdomains day in, day out, what that is going to do for ENS in the community. And imagine this dev has $0 donated to him. And so, we'll kind of get that groundwork.
I got to second that. Prem is probably the most important dev in between the core team and our community.
Hands down. And,
hands down.
He reached out to me and really gave me some great advice with, the prideflag.eth and put me on to the name wrapper early on and said, hey, don't do what you're thinking about doing with it. Hold on, stuff is coming. And just an awesome guy, right? And that's why I encourage everybody, be part of the ENS DAO. Like Gary said, a lot of people in here won't even know who Prim.eth is. Because he's got his nose to the grindstone. He's working full time and he's grinding, on the side to build for us. And I couldn't, again, it blew my mind when he said, hey, can you kind of see the pot? I got $0 donated to me. Heartbreaking. Like, goddamn, if you donate $1, the way this quadratic funding works, it's like, for certain projects, $1 could be matched by as much as $200 in matching funds. So it's like, all of us should be given every single project that's part of Gitcoin grants $1 at least, and watch how it adds up. That quadratic funding kicks in. So one of the things I've been wanting to do since that last round to this round is do a little, again, community outreach, connect the community with these Gitcoin projects. 3402 has agreed to host them with me. Really, I look at it like I'm a co-host for her. She'll hold it down. And we'll do it Tuesdays, Thursdays. We'll get more into it. It'll start next week, but it'll be like an hour long. We want, maybe one day for an hour, host a single Gitcoin grant project, come in, talk about what you're building, talk about your grant. Hopefully the community will join us, and hopefully it encourages everybody, learn about Gitcoin, learn about more about ENS DAO and the grants and what's available to us as builders. Again, you don't need to be a dev. You don't need to be Prim.eth to be a builder. 5159. Again, I always say, I was so proud to be able to do the, ENS small grants proposal for him, because my man is a builder. He's building the community day in, day out. And, I see Bashara, he's doing those amazing content videos. We know Gary is, he's working on content himself in a much broader builder, masters building. I don't know who all I encouraged NFTverse yesterday. Look, sign up for Gitcoin, do an application. We want to see the Friday night happy hour be part of that grants. I'll be the first person to see that one. Everybody who's building, I encourage you, create that Gitcoin account. Make your application as soon as possible. Everything starts September 3rd. There is a time for them to approve it as part of ENS, so do it as soon as possible. It'll run from September 3rd to the 22nd. And man, get involved, educate yourself. Again, me and 3402 are going to do our best. We got a couple projects. Everybody probably already knows who they are on board. ETH.limo, they're part of it. We've got Neiman from Asteroids. He's going to help us. He's going to be, do one of the spaces with us. And we got Nimi.eth. They're going to do one of the spaces with us. I'm probably going to reach out to 00 and Furrion any day now and say, hey, I don't know if you're going to be part of this round or not, but I know you were part of Gitcoin before. We want, ENS Vision to be part of this. Anybody who's going to have an application, if you're in this room thinking about it, get it done. Contact me in 3402. We'd love to give you a little time to talk about your project, your grant, and help drive awareness and help maybe get some donations from the community. Have a good day, guys.
Nice, yeah, nice stuff you're working on there, man. I think that's needed, and that's real community work, right? ENS Punks is the one that helped me get my grant the first time, so much appreciated. We'll end this thing on Bashar. We're kind of over time here. We'll end it on Bashar, and then we'll call it a day. Bashar, how you doing, man?
How's it going, Kev? How's it going, everybody? Well, great news. We got a lot of wins, a lot of great, news outlets with the articles and the interview this morning. Very bullish for the ENS in general. Any win is a win for us all. That's what I always say. And regarding the grants, I applied for the 14th, the Gitcoin 14th grant a few months ago, and Colton from the DAO Steward, he actually helped me, helped me through the grant. And yeah, I encourage everybody, who's building, who's pushing the boundaries of ENS and putting. You don't have to be a dev. I always say that you don't have to be a dev to be a builder, to be, eligible for these grants. I encourage everybody who's doing something very useful for the community to apply for it. All right, that's it for me today. I'm very bullish. We're building a lot. There's a lot of news, exciting news that's coming in from my way. You'll be the first people to know it.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, this is ENS Updates. We do this show every Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think this was an absolutely phenomenal episode. It is recorded, so feel free to share it with a friend, share it with a family member. If you aren't if you aren't following the speakers on stage, ladies and gentlemen, give the wonderful speakers on stage a follow. They are actively building and taking this community to the next level. And with that being said, I have a question for you guys. Why do fools fall in love?
Why do fools fall in love? Why do birds sing so gay? The love is my way to say to say. Why do they fall in love? Why does the rain fall from up above? Why do fools fall in love? Why do they fall in love? Love is a losing game. Love.
Oh shit, my bad, yeah. All right.